Alrighty, hello everyone, and welcome to the Money Pigs Livecast. This is episode 72. We are the Money Pigs. I am Twerp, along with the Blue Muzzy, MOBA Champion, and Tulse. Welcome to the show. How's everybody doing tonight?
Finally recovered from my long weekend.
Yeah, Muzzy, you had quite the weekend. You were over at Waystone doing the helping out with that 24-hour Extra Life charity stream, which was pretty cool.
Incredibly successful 24-hour.
Yeah, what they
charity
raised?
stream.
11K or something?
11K, and
That's silly.
I mean I think Thor's stream raised 1,000. Like, just awesome. So many awesome people. I was there for a few $500 donations. It was amazing.
Yeah, really cool to see everybody coming out and supporting the Extra Life thing. I know Thor was doing like the 24-hour stream for a bit there. I popped in and said hi to him. I popped into the Waystone stream, but I was working all weekend. I didn't get a chance to hang out as much as I wanted to. But we will have Muzzy giving us a little bit of a recap of his experiences with the Waystone Bros a little bit later on in the show. But we are going to start off, like we do every show, with some lore talk. We've had a couple chapters in the most recent Chronicles. Yeah. We are continuing the excellent adventures of Renzo and Zeri and their trek around Dawngate. And it seems they have, well, I mean, let's go back to where we left off. We left off what was it? Chapter 79.
79? Yeah, I think it was 79.
No, 79 right. Is what we saw last time. Or no,
yes. Wait. Yeah, we saw 79. We talked about the spirits leaving their bodies, and then going to see the moon blessed baby, and then they bow to it in their various ways, which was kind of awesome. And Renzo cries. Renzo tears up a little bit.
He wept at the beauty.
He did, and he said, "It is no shame to weep at beauty," and it's pretty awesome. I can only imagine, you know. Renzo's a little bit deeper. I'll admit it. He's a little deeper than he comes across as, and we get to see that again in the next one, where they come across the camp of Langator. I hope I'm saying it right. The East, and we find out that they just speak a different language. And actually, I have a treat for you guys. Some people on the Reddit looked up the cuneiform language and was able to kind of translate some of it. And I didn't do all the translations, but I know they say something like, can you trade their language? In other words, can you translate, kind of thing, which I think that's kind of awesome. And then, so we see this hawk that's been following this whole time. Looks kind of like a golden eagle, the ones that can pick up goats. They're so huge. So there's this girl who's a falconer, which is kind of awesome. And she's got this cool sword on her. And there's a lot of speculation and hope that could be a shaper in the future. We don't know. We're not really sure. And then there's a badass horse riding archer chick. Those two seem to be taking the front. And then in number 82, we see the names of the two people, because the archer lady on the horse gets down and says, my sister Asenka, that's the falconer girl with the awesome sword, and then her name is Jury of the Snowblood. So I don't know if if their tribe is the Snowblood, or if that's some sort of like a moniker given to somebody who has some sort of power or has performed some sort of trial. Not sure about that yet. Maybe somebody else in chat will know about that. But now we don't know. Like, I think everyone goes crazy every time we see another person in the Chronicles and they actually tell you their name. We're all kind of like, is that the next?
Oh, is that a new shaper?
Is that a new shaper?
It's immediately where I went with it.
We get a little giddy about it. I mean, both an archer would be, horse riding archer. I don't know if that has any place. We already have an archer. However, the falconer blade woman, little girl, Asenka, that seems really cool. If it were some sort of a melee kit with some sort of support, maybe vision support, kind of Quinn-esque, but better, hopefully. What do you guys think about the lore up to this point, the Chronicles?
Well, I think the Snowblood thing you were talking about, I think that is the tribe. Someone's saying that it's in Viana's lore, the mentioning of the Snowblood.
So, oh, right.
So I'm assuming that they're still in that general region of the world where like Viana's people are from, and this is like some nomadic plains
Hmm.
tribe that we're seeing like a little like Eastern influences. Like the archer chick has got like a little samurai vibe to her, like
Hmm.
an archer samurai type, which is pretty cool. And
I,
yeah,
I
and
I
then
like the thing she does where she drapes the cloth
uh,
across her hands
I
and grabs his
was
arms,
I was gonna
and
point that out. And Renzo like clearly
he
knows
knows.
more
Yeah,
things than he really leads on because
right.
like he's not looking surprised by this. This is like a custom. He was like ready to like receive her with his hands. So like that
Right.
was I thought that was a nice little. We're actually learning a lot about Renzo in this arc, like
Hmm.
subtly, and I really do like that.
Yeah, I mean, I before definitely said I feel like he's too shallow. He's all surface, and I think that he does a really the writers have done a really great job of giving him more of a character, without him being his overt ham Renzo self,
Yeah,
talking in the third person
up
all the
until
time.
now, he's pretty much been like a one note joke. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And
Hmm.
now, like, we're starting to peel back the layers. Like, even like in the earlier chapter where he says it's no shame to weep at beauty. Like, even that, like,
Yeah,
that was very, like Renzo esque. But at the same time, you're like, damn, Renzo, like, you're getting me with the feels here, bro.
right,
So
right.
I like that stuff.
And then this chapter closes off, or at least this page closes off with, um, him telling her not to stare, because he knows how to be respectful to people of other tribes, and he seems a bit more educated than he originally comes off as. And then she goes, "I know, geez," and then he goes, "And Zeri, don't run wild here." And he hands over her mask, her bandana that she held across her face, and you see Zeri just like, "Shit, I've been caught, I'm found out." So I'm interested to see what that means. What does he know? Does he just know that she is the graffiti girl that's been running around the city, or does he know about her short expedition with Kagan that has yet to be revealed because we've been cheated out of it somehow?
Well, I think that's kind of Waystone's little like nudge, like, hey, we didn't forget
Nod
about
to
the
it.
living lore,
Right,
and it's
right,
like,
which is good.
and also again just speaks to Renzo even more so. Like he plays this aloof character that he's so self-involved, he doesn't notice anything going on,
But
but like
yeah.
he's watching. He's like definitely the teacher.
Mhm.
He knows what his student is up to in her free time, and that also does, in my opinion, it sheds maybe a little bit more light onto Kagan, where because if Renzo thought Zeri was going to be in any threat in dealing with him, he would have
Right,
stepped in and not let her do whatever it is that
right.
they do. So I think that does kind of let us on to a little bit of Kagan's true nature, and that maybe
Yeah.
he's not so. Even though he's a sand pirate, he's not necessarily a really really bad guy.
Well, we also got that little bit of that page during that lore choice that we had. We got the living lore section. We got the page of Renzo talking to her mom, and she mentions Kagan. She talks about him, so about how he's a good guy underneath, even though he's basically a diamond covered in poop kind of thing. And I think that Renzo kind of took that to be like, okay, so this guy's not that bad. Sure, he may be a little rough around the edges, but not going to lead Zeri astray entirely, at least. So maybe that's why he didn't stop her.
John, tell us what you guys think about the most recent lore chapters.
Uh, I don't know. It's pretty, but I'm still waiting for it to ramp up.
Yeah,
Hmm.
something's got to happen.
Yeah, I just like
This
the
is
fact
like
that. Oh, go
good.
on. I just like the fact that Renzo's topless and everyone else has like these huge fur coats
Yeah,
and stuff, and he's
yeah.
just like Renzo.
I mean, his
That's
nipples are always hard as it is, so
Hmm.
I'm imagining
exactly.
that he doesn't notice any difference.
Yeah, but yeah,
I
like John said, I'm waiting for the ramp up.
It's
yeah,
like a Lord of the Rings movie, and they're just walking. You know what I'm saying? Like
but now
something's
that
gonna
they're
happen
at this
soon, right?
tribe, something's gonna go down.
Hmm.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't know why they're there.
Nicole,
We don't know what exactly they hope to accomplish on this journey, right? That hasn't been alluded to. They're just there, and Zeri's kind
well,
of along for the ride.
I'm guessing that because they're taking Renzo and Zeri to Nikal, which is the grandmother of Asenka and Juri, I'm assuming that you go talk to the elder because the elders hold the history, and so maybe because that Nikal is so old that that she knows stuff about this whole bonding with spirits or understands what's happening, and they might be going to gather information. This also might be the centralized location where several different people from or representatives from each tribe or section of the world are coming to kind of a neutral area to have discussions about what's happening. So we'll see. That's what I'm guessing is happening.
Interesting. I'm kind of with you, John and Tulse, a little bit. I do want to see something happen. Like, this has been a nice build up, and it is nice to get this little backstory and to get the depth of the character and the depth of the relationship between Zeri and Renzo. But like, yeah, I'm kind of waiting for the next like high tension, big dramatic moment to come, because it has kind of, the story is a little bit of a lull, but I think there's something good that's going to come of it, and we're going to get a nice big reveal or a nice plot twist to continue the story going forward.
I mean, like, I think the last 2 or 3 panels or pages rather have had really, really good art and like really cool faces and like emotion and all that stuff. But like, I want some story coming up in the next few pages, I hope.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. Just need that action.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's been a while since we had that like kick-ass Freya, Kendra, Fenmore thing.
See where that's going. Maybe someone from the Shorewind is finally here.
One day.
Suddenly, Cerulean.
Listen, well, if they want to reveal stuff with the Shorewind, can we just like open on Cerulean and the new badass art they were showing off on Friday? Because that was out of control. Bat wings, Cerulean, are you kidding me? Like, it's just gonna be wings and dunks and wings and dunks.
He looks very the skin looks very Gundam-ish. Which I'm not complaining. I think it's a really sweet way to bring Gundam down to kind of more of a terrestrial form. It's not space, but it still holds the silhouette and the shape of Gundam. So it's kind of awesome. It's kind of awesome.
Yeah, I've liked what we've seen so far. I mean, I guess Cerulean's going to be another Halloween-themed skin. We've gotten Petrus, the Necropolis Petrus, which I really like. That's actually my new favorite Petrus skin. I really like the way that one looks. You don't like it?
I don't.
I was just gonna say, I don't think this is gonna be a Halloween skin, because they said that he's still like a week away from like texturing and all that stuff, so it's probably not gonna be out for like a few weeks. It seems like they have to do all the VFX and whatever else changes they have to do.
Yeah, Halloween's on Friday, so
yeah,
who knows? They could be working on all that stuff all at the same time, but there's a lot that they're trying to manage at this point. So
yeah. I was actually hoping for more spooky skins. Like, the Petrus is cool, but like LOL I think is doing 4 or 5. And I mean, I know the resources are not the same.
Massively different, right?
Yeah, but I was just hoping for Kitty Cat Kendra, just like Kitty Cat Katarina. I mean, come on. But
well, we already got Batwings, Kendra.
The disappointment of that skin is so real, because it means that Kendra's not getting a skin for a while.
Oh. Yeah, but it's the 9 skin. It's so badass. I'm throwing all my money at Waystone for the 9 skins. I think it's awesome.
I want all 9 to come out, and then there to be like a package deal for like $30. You get all the 9 skins. Right. That'd be pretty cool.
Right. So
that might be
on top of the Shapers getting their awesome skins, we also had the spooky environment, which was kind of cool, And I don't know if you guys noticed. I know we have it up on MobaChamp. I'll go ahead and post it real quick. But there were some graves, tombstones there. RIP FL, F.L. So I think I know what that stands for, but I'm not sure if a dev will allow me to say it.
It's the Flock Lord.
Oh, so we are allowed to say it. Okay, it's the Flock Lord.
What?
Boom.
All right, I can't be in trouble anymore. Sweet. Yeah, the Flock Lord. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what it is. I just know that that's the name, or I'm only going to say that.
The old map boss before Parasite was a thing.
Okay, so it's all allowed. And then goats were apparently used to test map V2 before it came out. One of them was an uncle and died. So you have Uncle Goat. And then that's his urn right there.
The siege goats. I remember that.
Yeah.
The fireball shooting siege goats.
Those things, we don't know what they were.
They were weird.
Bring them back, man. Bring them back.
But I like that, Dawngate and Waystone did like the little spooky map stuff. Like that stuff's cool. I like seasonal events and things of that nature. They add a little extra something for the time of year. I think
you know what's interesting too is like they have a schedule that they have to stick to. They are trying to release stuff for competition, for progression patch stuff. They've got a lot of stuff on their plate, and yet they still took the time to bring us some sort of event, and they still took the time to model, texture, place, light, all of that stuff, which takes time, guys. It takes quite a bit of time, and the fact that they did that means that they care. They're not just going to be sloppy about this. They're gonna bring us an experience, which is cool, very cool.
Yeah, and speaking of things they are working on, we did get the announcement that Ranked is coming next content patch.
Yes.
So we all have that to look forward to. We got a nice note from Dave Serra, the lead producer, talking about the release of Lilin and the Extra Life charity event that happened over the weekend. And then he also left a little nugget in there about Ranked coming in the next patch. So, I mean, based off the cycles that we've gotten, we can maybe expect that in the next 2 to 3 weeks, which is pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
I mean, that seems to be the plan that they're going on. What do you guys just think Ranked in general? Like, how's that make you feel?
Bring it. No more solo queue for me.
More salt, yes.
Now the salt will be real salt, and then I could be like one of those guys, like take that try hard shit to Ranked.
It's interesting because a lot of problems can be attributed to the normal game environment, right? Like, I mean, there's tons of things that suck about not having Ranked. I mean, where do you try stuff, right? If you're a nerd that cares about their ranking and you don't have an alt account, like, when do you try learning a new shaper? When do you do a queue like Flynn Kell lanes and just lose horribly and not get people mad? When do you queue with your bronze buddies and your new friends? Like, there's a lot of things that are just immediately answered by splitting it into ranked. So, in general, I think the Dawgate's going to be a lot better. The risk, obviously, is that queue times are going to be horrendous now, but I'm hopeful that people that play at Platinum or higher, which generally is 99% of the people in my games, like, I'm hoping that they'll just queue for ranked now instead of normal, so it'll be okay. I think the biggest and most important thing that we need to have is some sort of public-facing rating, though, because the QQ threads about, like, duo queuers and bronze players and all this stuff is just like reached gargantuan proportions, and every single time it happens, like Gastier someone to come in the thread and be like, "Yep, it was actually a balanced match. It's only your perception." So it'll be nice to get that perception squashed.
Some people have asked, Dweebles brings up a good point, but I think there's still a good enough, there's a good answer. Why would they release ranked when there's supposed to be a progression patch that might change the game? Ranked experience, the ranked experience still needs to be tested. This is still a beta, and I think people really do forget that we are still the game testers for them right now. And so if they release a feature, we still have to test it. We still have to go through the process of it sucking at first, and then they use us and the information we provide them to refine the feature. So yeah, there are going to be some bad things coming out of this. It's going to feel bad a few times probably, but it can only get better if we aren't dicks about it and we actually give them constructive criticism instead of QQing constantly.
Well, I think that the thing is too, people have to remember, like, even though, like, just to add on to your point, Muzzy, it's the fact that it is ranked and it is beta, and it's probably gonna get reset. You know what I mean?
They said a compression.
Well, compression. So I mean, it's not like the be-all, end-all of your Dawngate career on these first couple weeks of ranked being out. So like, we gotta temper expectations. It'll be nice that people can stop using Dawn Scout as like a reason for bad matchmaking. You know what they're going to do instead now? Whatever the ranking system is, they're just going to be like, well, on Dawn Scout it says I'm Diamond, but the ranking in Dawngate says I'm only Platinum. This is bull.
I hope that they're going to update the data stream. I saw Flex in chat. Hopefully he can confirm what they're going to do with that. But I mean, just in general, I find, like, people who, I say this every week, but people who just Google or Dawn Scout their teammates are, like, the scummiest players anyway. But, being able to track, your own personal progression is a big deal. So, yeah, he's updating it sick. But people always
Confirmation.
find something to complain about.
Oh yeah,
right?
that's
It'll just go to last pick or like that. I complain about that all the time. I'm like, look at my 06 last pick. Like I say that every week. You know, that'll be the go-to complaint.
Yeah.
I think people just need to remember it's on how you complain. You should complain if something's wrong. Things don't get improved, but it's all on how you complain. If you are, just whiny about it and you don't offer up any sort of solution, or if you're not level-headed about it, you're not really helping. You're just being a dick. So just,
True.
fix the way that you actually complain about things, and you can probably affect some sort of change in the game. If you want change that badly, stop crying and start thinking.
I've
Seriously.
never dodged. Sorry, I was just reading chat. I don't think I've ever dodged my teammates based on dodge scout. I hate the dodge gate. Back in the day when you used to be able to see your opponents too, like those dodgers are the worst. You're thinking of someone else, man.
Ice strip.
Oh my god.
Is he here? Can we make fun of him for dodging? Drip
Even
dodge?
if he's not here, let's make
He wouldn't
fun.
care. You can make fun of him.
No, I know.
anyway.
Ice Strip doesn't care.
Ice Strip's cool. He might be a
even,
dodger, but he's still a cool guy.
He like messages you in game and he's like, "Hi," and then he tries to bait you with something. He's like, "Oh, I got a question for you," and then if you respond to him, and like he'll do it before the queue pops, and then once the queue pops, you go in, you respond, and your name is red, and he's like, "Oh, I see you on the other
It's
side.
the enemy.
Time to dodge."
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I don't respond to people in the champion select anymore. Too scary.
Yeah, man.
I want to know what causes people to dodge these days because it still happens a lot, and it's like, in general, I find matches are reasonably more balanced than they've been in the past, and like even if we have a bad comp, I still play it. So I like, but I still get on average 2 dodges per queue. It's crazy.
Well, my big thing with that is too is like ever since the announcement of ranked, I'm like, well, how can anyone care anymore about real? I mean, I understand you still want to win and all that and that, but like, how can you care that much about your ranking right now? It's like ranked is coming like in 2 weeks. Like, who cares? No one's gonna
Hopefully.
care what you were on the leaderboards today. Like, that's all gonna be different in a couple weeks, and you're gonna have a whole new reason to complain about something. But like, that's just something that is funny to me. Like, as soon as they announced ranked, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna play whatever the hell I want in solo queue now because I know it really doesn't matter too much, and now I want to try stuff.
Well, they announced that when ranked launches, the people that were the top 200 on the leaderboard get a summoners icon or whatever icon, a profile icon that's exclusive to the leaderboard, and no one else can get it forever. So
Really?
no, but
I was gonna say
something like that would definitely
that would be
Yeah,
terrible.
That's just massaging egos.
something like that. I mean, LoL did it though. The top 500 players
Yeah.
in the beta got a cool icon. I think Gasty has one of
That's
those.
cool. I guess they deserve it.
So it'd be neat to. It'd be neat if they do some sort of reward. Flux just says that would be terrible.
Yeah,
it
I
would
mean,
be.
it would be the worst
would
thing
be.
ever.
I think it should just be a title. I would love for titles to take place, to
Yeah,
be
I mean,
implemented.
don't they have title support somewhere? Like
It looks like they have title
Your beta
support, but I
tester,
don't know
right?
if it's turned on.
Oh, I want
Yeah.
a title where if you've dodged too many games, you get a title
Yeah,
where you cannot
jerk
change
title.
that says the Dodger.
Right.
That would
And
be.
anyone
I would
who
like
searches your profile, it's like red. It's there.
shaming, profile shaming. I'm all in for stuff like that.
Yeah, but I mean, like ranked seasonal rewards would be really cool. I
Not
don't know
through
if they're
salty
gonna talk
boards,
about that
dude.
now or
Oh.
later.
RS Flex says
Oh,
we
he
want to do that
says,
stuff
yeah.
through ranked, not through the salty boards.
I guess Gassy must be sick. We're just getting leaks straight from Flux tonight. That's good.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
fine.
they're just
RS
in the
Flux is a
same
good
room
guy.
together, and Gasty's dictating to him. But whatever, I'll take what I can
Mr.
get.
Scythe,
Thank you, Flux.
Mr. Scythe, let's go. Give us more. Come on, we're waiting.
But well, for those of us who play ranked, I mean, how are you hoping the system to even look like and feel like? I mean, draft mode is one thing, but how do
Solo
you how do
queue,
you,
duo queue.
yeah.
We've touched on this discussion briefly before. I've always kind of been in the camp of I want it to be a real solo queue, but I understand the element of duo queue, and I like the the leak mantle has been passed to Flux as per Gasty.
Very nice.
But I like being able to queue up with a buddy and take on the world together. I mean that's fun sometimes. I don't know what the ideal system is. I'll live with it, whatever they choose. But there's a part of me that wants it to just be a true solo queue. I mean, that's the way it was now if you consider just solo queue affecting your SQR. So I mean, to go away from that and add duo queue would be like kind of weird to me, but I don't know. I don't really know.
Yeah, I kind of like solo queue as well, but with a game like Dange where you have dual lanes, like 2 dual lanes on like League or something, it just feels kind of iffy because
Yeah,
you want to play with your friend to like either
Yeah.
improve, like if you have a team and you want to practice synergy or like lane comps that you want to do, then you kind of want to do dual queue. But personally, I would just like solo queue, and everyone is just solo queue. Like you're left alone, you have to improve yourself.
Gasty says you can do a queue, but you aren't allowed to do a queue with someone who is too far away from your current skill. Have to be close.
I
wonder what close means, but
yeah.
Okay.
Is close one rank, or is you know? Like,
well, we don't know.
Basically, is there boosting? Yeah, I know, but you can talk theoretics. You know, if I'm in silver or the equivalent of, and you're in gold, you know, can I join you? Because that becomes boosting in a way.
I think that should be like 1 tier difference.
Within 1 tier seems okay.
It seems okay to me, but like you shouldn't be having those situations where you get the diamond or champion player going up with, you know, golds and silvers. That's when you just get bad experiences for everyone involved in the game. Because the lower player doesn't want to get dragged up into the high level and feed. And you know, and the good player, it's not beneficial to the opponents if he's just walking around 1v5ing the entire enemy team with a race car horse. That's not fun, is it?
Fucking race car
That's
horse.
not fun to do that, to queue up as 5 and then just stomp all over Randy with the race car horse?
We weren't even as 5. We were as 3.
Really? You
Yeah.
just randomly got the other 2 members of your team?
Yeah.
Oh, that's even worse.
That's lucky.
Matchmaking, please!
Yeah. I mean,
you can queue with someone within +1, -1 tier from you. Just like we were saying. Cool.
I mean, it's not fair to the players in your game either. Like, I mean, I actually like playing up. Like, I like it when I'm last pick. I love stepping up. But, like, I hate being, like, 2nd or 3rd pick, and our last pick is a duo queue person way below the game. Because, like, if they play on par, I will never notice that discrepancy ever. But if they get stomped, it's just going to be the worst experience ever. Because I'm going to be in a game with someone in bronze, getting beat down by someone who's championed the enemy team, and it's like... It's entirely the system's fault for letting that happen. So I'm excited about that sort of blocking in place. I mean, play normal games, right? In the new system, if you want to play with your buddies, normal games are like the way to go. But ranked should definitely require a nice and balanced game with everyone more or less on the same level. So it'd be nice to have 2 queues.
I think I might just be more excited for a real normal queue. Like, that opens up a lot of, like, fun stuff, you know, for, like, streamers and stuff. Like, now I can, like, instead of, like, trying to populate a custom game, like, I could jump into a group queue with viewers, stuff like that, and not, you know, ruin other people's games or deal with that 5-man stacking and all the nonsense that comes with that in the current matchmaking. So, like, that's something to look forward to for the normal queues. Just, like... you know, a place to play with people and just like and have fun and then just kind of like play a weird comp if you want. You know, I like those options. I like to have that.
Looks like we're gonna be doing placement matches, but they are solo queue only.
Ooh,
Solo queue only?
the pressure.
That's fine.
I've been really fortunate. Like every time there's a new LoL season of ranked, I always end up going like 7-3, 8-2, and it's like, well, I'm set for the season now. But I've known some people that just flat out go into the thing, go 2-8. I mean, you're gonna see the threads on Reddit.
Oh,
this 4v5. Now I'm stuck in silver. 600 games later, I'm still stuck in silver. It's all Waystone's fault for those placement matches. But I mean, it is probably better to have solo. Really put you in it.
So we're gonna learn.
Prepare for 10 straight games of Cerulean. I gotta win those games, man.
You know what's gonna be sad though? It's like I'm in my placement game. I have to play my best shaper. It's like, well, this team isn't a good team comp.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. But I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
I really love the idea on paper for what League did with their I want to queue up into this queue as a jungler, and then you look for other teams. That is such a cool idea. I left League before it was implemented.
A team builder, I kind of left League around the same time.
I left League right before it was implemented. I was pretty excited about it, never got to play it. I wish something like that could exist, you know?
it would
And work.
actually be a pretty incredible system as a full stop normal mode replacement.
Yeah.
The only thing that it requires is you need to accept that that's the meta of your game, and you have to know that like double jungle is no longer a thing forever. Like you're saying that your jungle
Sure.
has there's one hunter on your team, and that's it. But
Well,
with
no, because you can create your own lobby saying I will accept these circumstances. I will
yep,
accept.
Yeah, you
like
could do it like a party
Yeah,
finder, like in an MMO, where it's like you could go
exactly.
with the standard comp, or you could take
Yeah.
5 DPSs and just Jesus take the wheel. So
yeah. Well, the other thing is like, let's say progression patch is released sometime before the end of next year, and Predator is valid again. Like, what does your team builder look like?
yeah.
Let's say I don't want to play with double jungle. Like, how would that system work? It would be a more interesting challenge, I think, for them compared to LoL, where it's just like top lane, mid lane, jungler, support, AD carry. Dongate would definitely have to, really code in the edge cases for that.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. What about Organic brings up a good point. He says, "What's the requirement to start queuing for ranked? We don't have a
There's always
leveling. We don't have an out-of-game
Well,
progression system."
plus 30 games, so you have to have at least 30 games, and you have to have not been reported 10 times.
Is that for real, or is that what you
No,
want?
I'm just pulling that out of my ass. I mean, I would like it.
You think
shouldn't
30's
be
enough? I mean, it used to. I mean,
yeah, right, exactly. It's 30 enough because
no, well, because just the way it is now,
could
it's
grief
50
people.
to be on the
Right.
leaderboard.
Yeah.
think
But I
a
mean, you could
50
also
is
grief
good.
people pretty easily. Just be like, I'm starting a what do you call it? A Smurf account, and then all of a sudden you're really good and you're in your
Mhm.
placement match. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like you'd
Well-
need to have some sort of limited number of games.
50 games, 30 games, somewhere in the middle. It doesn't matter how many games it is. You're gonna queue into ranked, and there's gonna be somebody that's 40 and 10 in normal mode, and they're gonna win their 10 placement matches, and you're like, this guy's got 50 games, and the matchmaking system sucks. So like, whatever the number is, hopefully it's not too low or too high, but it's like enough that you understand what the roles are and you understand what the characters are, and like that's kind of it, right? I mean, you're either gonna get it or you're not. Like, I don't want to make people play 200 games of normal or something crazy like that. Like they'll lose their placement matches if they aren't good enough, and it should balance itself out.
It's the dream.
But I mean, yeah, 30, 50. Like, how many games you play a day? Like, let's say you're like the average guy, like 3 games a day, maybe. So it's like 10 days of playing Dongate before you can start normals or start ranked. That seems fair.
Guys, I was kidding about the whole. You must not have been reported 10 times. That it's too easy
Yeah.
to school that system. Like everybody could grief really hard and just start like reporting
Just keep
everybody
people
in
out of
normals,
ranked.
and then you'd be keeping people out of ranked, and that's a
You
really
wouldn't
shitty.
even be in a
It
game
was a
with them.
joke. It was
You
a
would
joke.
just you would just report them from your friends list without even going to the game.
Right.
I would do
Oh,
that
my
to
team
so
does
many
this right.
people. Oh my god.
Trust me, it's not a good idea. It was just I wish we could filter out the jerks somehow, but it's
I'm
impossible.
I'm curious to see what karma will look like in ranked. Like
Ooh.
when people care about winning so much, you're gonna win, and you're gonna look at your karma after the match. It's gonna be like 8, and you're like, damn it. Like, salty people are not gonna want to like throw the karma at the people that just cost them actual legitimate rating. Now, I know I won't. I get salty all the time.
I know. I've definitely just noticing my own karma trends. I'm much more generous when I win than when I lose. So
I'm just super generous if it was a really good game, close game.
yeah,
That's the only time I have karma for
I
all.
stole my karma system from somebody who I was watching their stream this week, where I just karma the winning team and who I thought performed the best on the losing team. I don't know which streamer has it, but I just stole it from him, and it seems to be a fair system for me. I'm enjoying it. But if it's like a really good long game, I'll karma everybody. But it doesn't matter because I get the nut at the end anyway.
always the nuts.
Dude, I get more nuts lately than ever before. Although
You
I
like
did get a divine
squirrel
yesterday.
saving up for winter there, John?
Yeah, I mean it's almost November. Like, it's getting cold.
As far as
indeed.
ranked and what, do you guys have anything else with ranked, or you want to start talking about Lilin and the patch?
The only thing I don't think we've covered on ranked is, how do you guys feel about promotion series that LoL has implemented?
I don't mind that.
Like win best 3 out of whatever.
Right, like
2 out of 3.
let's say your Dawn Scout rating is gold and you're just getting ready to hit platinum, and they're like, well, hold on, let's give you a best of 5 match, win 3 of the 5 and go up to stop people from going on a 15-game win streak and going above where they maybe belong. It's like a
I don't think
clamping
that's bad.
system.
I like it.
I don't know. I always kind of liked the old ELO system in League because I had some really like because of those edge cases where it's like I've had times where like I've won more game because winning that game to get back into your series, like that it like almost counts against you in a sense because it's like you won just to get back to where you were, and then you have to start it over again and then win 3 and again. So it's like you're winning 2 in a row or 3 in a row, but you're not getting them when you need them, and that like really feels shit to me. I almost
don't
like
the promotion
numbers going up and down after every win and loss because it's like you're watching your. Because I always like equated solo queue and things of that nature to like to like gambling. It's like you're playing blackjack and like or poker, and it's your teammates are your hand. Sometimes you get a shit hand and you can't win, but either way, you still lose chips for that hand. You know, like
Yep.
so.
Which feels bad, which means the house always wins.
Well, yeah, and in a sense, it should be. It should be you competing against the house. You're trying to go up in rating, and every time you lose a game, you lose some of that. You lose some of that rating, but you can always get it back. And it should always be where winning. And like the MMR should work in a way that where winning is always better than losing. Like that.
So
that was also what was really crap about League when you would win. And you'd get 3 league points. Back, remember when like there was really serious clamping and like not knowing what the hidden number is? We have the same situation as we do now with solo queue and MMR. Solo queue rating and
that's
MMR.
still going to be a problem though, I think, because like even though you don't see the numbers change, like Alucard's in my stream every day. He's like, I went 3 wins, 1 loss yesterday, and went down 4 solo queue rating. Like that exists behind the scenes, like already in this game, just based on the match balance. Like you could be in a match where you're 20 solo queue rating average ahead of your opponents or MMR, and then the next game you could be 20 MMR behind. So like the win in the first game might be worth like 10 points, whereas the win in the second might be worth 7. Like I'm curious
My
how
games-
they translate that into ranked, or is every game just going to be worth the same amount of points?
Yeah. I can say in my games probably if I win I get like 3 points, 2 points, and if I lose like 15, like something ridiculous like that. So I have to win a lot, and like I don't like the current league's version of doing the whole division stuff. I think it promotes victimization. So like you feel like, oh, all the odds are against me. My team sucks. Oh, my team's trolling me. They know I'm in promotions and stuff like that. So I think Ferris said this just now in chat, and I also agree. I like StarCraft's old ladder system where you would get to a certain amount of points, and if you stay at that certain amount of points and you start playing against people who are better than you, and you beat them, then you gotta be put into their rating bracket or like their tier. And I like that a lot. And it's like I like, how should I phrase this? I like it when if you're good, no matter how long it takes, if you're good and you know you're better than everyone else, you're going to be at the tier you deserve to be. Like I always say this, like if you suck and you complain to me and you say your team sucks, but I know that you suck, then I'll always say that you belong where you belong because you suck. Like that's all there is to it. And until I see that you make improvement on yourself, then you can bitch about your shitty ass team and then eventually climb up to the top. Because if you are where you belong, then you probably won't move, and you have to deal with that. And that's just like your own problem.
I really suck. I'm almost down to silver now.
Well, I mean, like everybody has games where your teammates
just
play
play.
badly,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
like that's gonna happen. And complaining about that is fine. But then after 300 games where you had bad teammates in all 300 of those games, you kind of have to ponder about it. Like, I don't know any Dongate players who are like extraordinarily talented that haven't hit the leaderboards yet. Because I mean, like, it's just how the law of large numbers works. When you play 100 games, your teammates are not going to be bad 100 times. I mean, this is kind of a circle jerk at this point, but like, I think everybody knows that like bad teammates are not the consistent part of your progress. So
Like-
no matter what the rank system is, I assume after you've put in 100, 200 games, you're going to be more or less where you should be. And that's why I was like graphs of your progress. Like, sure, today I might be down 100 MMR because I lost 6 in a row, but like if you look over the last 2 weeks and then you look at the next 2 weeks, oh, I'm still averaging about maybe 50 points higher than that. I think that's maybe what promotion series were designed to curve. Like, just because you have a bad or a good day, you don't deserve to be a tier above or below like you can now in the Dawn Scout scores, right? You can go silver, gold, platinum, gold, silver, bronze, gold, platinum, all in like 5 days because you can just go up and down so fast.
Yeah, I mean, I purposely don't care about where I am, except for the fact that I get paired with people who frustrate me, and that's a separate issue altogether. But because I do 100 games, or at least I was 100 games of the same shaper, learning someone I'm completely not familiar with and grinding it and losing and losing and losing and finally winning and winning, winning, I'm still dropping lower and lower. And I honestly, truly don't think that I'm that bad. I think that I'm a decent player, but I still keep dropping. And so where does that factor in when you're purposely learning a new shaper or purposely learning a new role and you're not good at that yet?
Well, that's not going to be the case in the new system because take it to normals then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of like a thing for right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely gonna be games like I I played one Lilin game all weekend and I lost. Like my rating went down 15 points. Like if I was playing
Hmm.
Kindra or Amaranth or someone I'm like super comfortable with, maybe I would have won that game. But like if you're the type of person that's gonna like basically random a shaper every game, like that factors into player skill. I mean, player skill is like figuring out exactly which shaper in this game is going to complement my teammates and give us a win. And
Can
if
I
you're
play it?
right,
Yeah.
and if you're not willing to do that, then like I mean, I don't want to talk like what is your player skill, but I mean from a rating
Hmm.
perspective, that's going to the pick ban phase or even the pick phase is part of the game. And if you're not good, quote unquote, good at it, and by not caring, I guess essentially you say for this game I'm going to be bad. And I don't mean to like say you're bad or anything like that, but it's like
Hmm.
if you come into Champion Select and you're like I'm playing Desecrator this game, and your team comp doesn't work at all with Desecrator, you have a higher chance of losing that game, and it's
Mhm.
just because you're not coming into that game competitively. I mean,
Exactly.
Or you,
and if you keep doing that every game, then yeah, your rating is probably going to be lower than it should be. But like
Yep.
if you're that type of player, I wouldn't worry that much about that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
and that's why I just don't care anymore because I just want to learn the shapers. I just want to learn the game.
or
But
you
Yeah,
it's
could,
just but I'm wondering how many people out there are actually like me going through the same thing, thinking that they're just like getting yelled at for sucking when they're just trying to learn the damn game, and that's not fair. For hopefully ranked will be where you try, and
yeah,
normals will be where you learn.
And you
I mean,
practice.
obviously you'll learn things while you're playing ranked, but I'm like that's where you learn is in normal. So I'm excited about the whole ranked system coming up.
Yeah. I want to kind
well,
of just finish
Yeah,
up our points, and I want to move on to the patch because we got to cover
yeah.
a lot more stuff still. So go ahead, Tulse.
yeah.
No, I was just gonna say you can like alternatively, if you feel like you're struggling a lot by learning the new shaper, you can just pick one shaper and learn the role instead of learning a shaper. And once you become good at the role, you can then dabble with different shapers. Because what I feel is that depending on what position you play, that's how it changes and then you play the role, and then when you play the shaper, you use the shaper to change the way you want to play the role. So if you
Mhm.
become really, really good with one shaper, you should become so good to the extent that you can do anything you want within that role's limits. And that's how I see it. So like if you have a shaper that's super, super aggressive and you're really good in this lane, but they pick something that really um, defers like or really doesn't like this kind of aggressive play, so that you play into a Renzo and stuff, you eventually become so good at playing that matchup that you just know how to play it. And because you're so good at that shaper, it doesn't matter if they have like a Renzo or a Desecrator, you can still do your job perfectly well and like carry the game through that sense.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've definitely gotten to that point. Like,
Yeah.
I play against so many range tacticians on Cerulean. Like, I know I'm not surprised by anything. There are lanes that are horrible matchups for me, and I still end up like holding my own just because I'm so comfortable on him, and I
Yeah.
know all the
Exactly.
limits that I can do
yeah.
for the most
Playing
part.
from behind especially is something like I see lots of people die at level 1, and I'm like I would never die at level 1 in lane like that. Basically ever because I can play that shaper from behind.
Yeah.
And getting that level of familiarity I think is really important. I think everybody kind of probably has that one shaper they always go to, whether it's your Cerulean or my Kindra. Like you queue into that match, it doesn't matter what you're playing, you're gonna feel good. I think.
Yeah, you'll feel confident at least, and that is
Like-
big to getting
Yeah.
better in the ranked world.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's talk about Lilin a bit, the tank buster. I forget what her official name is, but she's
Old
the
guard.
tank,
Old guard.
the old guard, and she kills all the tanks and squishies too. What do you guys think of Lilin? Tulse, you've been playing quite a bit of Lilin, so you can go
does.
first on this.
She does too
Wait,
much
real
fuck-
quick. I watched Tulse play her the first day and get an Omni kill on her, and it was fucking awesome. It was
She does-
awesome. Okay,
She does too much. She does too much fucking damage. That's all there is to it. Like, I don't know. She's like,
She's really fun. I played her like 4 or 5 times. I had a blast every time I played her.
okay, this is how I would explain her. You know, when you play Dota and you come from a league environment, you feel like shit because there's so much point click and so much stun and so much stuff that you can't really dodge. That's Lilin, except she scales with the game, unlike Dota's mages.
Hmm.
And then she has point click abilities, which means she can never miss, and then she does a billion damage to you.
And even her skill shot is like
It's like-
stupid mode.
I want to talk about her skills.
Yeah, I am
because
very salty
her skill
about as
shot
an
is not a
Amaranth
skill
player. That bubble is like such a superior bubble, and it explodes in a giant AOE. It's like, and it passes through minions, so it's just like free backline harass constantly.
Yeah.
Like, yo, bubble, you need to take it down a notch.
It's like it's Zeri's Q, Ferris's W, and like something else all in one. The area of denial that it offers is comparable to ultimates. I would find like Amaranth's E is a precision. It's a scalpel that you like go and you have to hit perfectly the one target you want to do to complete
Threaded
your
in
damage.
between the caster minions.
Right. E is like, it's kind of like Fenmore's E, where it's like, well, I'm just gonna shoot at the creep wave. It's gonna kill all the creeps. I'm gonna have 100 million Vim and CS. Oh, and if it hits you, you also get to take a billion damage as well, and you know that sucks.
And
the
worst
counter-
part- No, go on.
Sorry, I was gonna say the counterplay is like, don't stand anywhere in this giant penis-shaped area. Like, don't stand on the shaft or the head. Okay, bad example, but like, don't stand anywhere there.
I think
and
it's a
that's
great
the-
example.
That's the only counterplay is like, don't stand there, and it's like, it doesn't matter where the minions are, it doesn't matter where other shapers are. It's like, I don't like that ability's design at all.
And
It
it's
makes
just like,
me sad.
it's so
So
easy to hit, and it's like that's the skill shot, and I'm like, that's easier to hit than every other ability. Like, it's so stupid, that ability.
This is how I see her, right? So she doesn't have a lot of quote unquote mobility, so she's not very quote unquote safe, but she has a lot of fucking range and a freaking knockback on her W just in case she does really screw up and miss position. So really the only time you can guarantee to really screw her over is like in the first 6 levels of her lane phase. And if you don't do that and she gets a destruction and she almost has a potency, you're gonna get so screwed, because if you build lots of HP, I've heard countless junglers, they always bitch about this. They say, I built lots of MR, I have over 150 MR, and I still get one shot. So my teammates tell me not to build MR because she destroys her MR anyway. And then she gets a potency and her passive does percentage HP damage and you die anyway. And then every single jungler that I played against when I was on Parallel, they all complained. They were like, I can't do anything in teamfights, I just get one shot. And then I was like, okay, this can't be very true. So I said, okay, I'm going to play ADC. I'm going to go fucking Strife and build tons of fucking HP with damage. And then I was playing against Obito and he one-shot me. And I was like,
Yeah.
cool, this is a fun game. And I felt like I couldn't do anything because everything was point and click. So there was nothing for me to
You
dodge.
can't avoid it, and the range on her ultimate is
Yeah,
insane.
it's 1,000 range, and it's a point click. And then, okay, so I dodge the E. I don't get hit by it, but my fucking teammates in the front get hit by the E, and then there are 3 extra orbs, and then she clicks on me, and I die. I'm like,
She requires massive coordination as well as like spell usage to survive. Like, the most funny experience I had this weekend is when I was targeted with the ultimate, which meant I had 0 magic resist, and the mage in front of me got one shot. I was like, oh, thanks, appreciate it.
She kind of reminds me of how Malzahar is. Like, if he touches you, you're dead, but then he's dead.
Yeah,
usually
But
people will
she's
just
doing
kill
this
him.
from so far away.
But exactly, and
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say. But her range is like 1.5 times what his
and
range
the
is,
ultimate, for him to use one of the key things of his kit and immobilizes
she gets to
him.
run away.
Yeah,
It's
that's
even
fire
stronger.
and forget, and it's like it's so
Right.
bozo. It's so
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome. It's a cool ability.
It's
Everything looks great,
cool.
and she's
Yeah.
a lot of fun to play. And that's the thing. It is very fun to play. The 100 to 0 shapers. That's fun to do. People like to one-shot things, but the counter of that is it feels really shitty to get one shot.
Yeah.
Because you're like,
I've
I
actually
don't
been
know what
picking
to
up
do.
retribution against her quite a bit, and no matter what my MR is, it's always 10% reduction from magic damage. So the faith is great and all, but like, I mean, you can do 10% reduction even if you have negative MR.
I've seen people being really successful surviving it with Valor and Bastion.
I've been picking up Bastion a lot versus her, and it's been awesome.
It's around 1,000
awesome
shielding when you add the two together, and if you stack that with Dib's shield or Lorenzo's shield, like that's most of the damage mitigated straight out. But that's only on your carry, right? If your front line has to take those spells, they're already dead, I think, because they're gonna get locked down by the abundance of CC.
Also,
I don't know.
If you die before the 30% trigger mark on Valor, the Valor shield doesn't proc.
Yeah,
that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit.
Like
so,
it's when you hit the 30% mark. So if you go straight to 0.
Yep. I got ulted by a villain like that, and I was like, "Where's my Valor? I even used my Bastion," and I died.
Yeah.
And I was like, "God damn it."
They should fix that. It should take you to like 1 HP or something and give you the shield.
Yeah.
I mean it's not like Valor needs like some sort of special counterplay where it's like if you overkill it, it's just good enough. Like no, they should fix that in my opinion. I also like the damage it does to a single target. Like I saw plenty of death recaps where it's taking like 1,700-ish damage, and I was like, oh,
Yep.
oh, my face.
Yep. I also hate that because you get like potency and maybe even chaos. Her cooldown is so low on her Q and her W and her E, like all of her abilities. So even if she doesn't kill you with her ult and her Q, like a second volley of Q is probably going to kill you.
It's enough damage to take someone out of the fight.
You're pushed out of the fight.
Yeah, and like you do that to someone like Salas,
which is essentially a death.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
like you do that to the initiator or your Peel or anyone else in the front. Moya before she uses landfall. Well, now she's not going to use her ultimate, and she's effectively out of the fight, and it's 4v5.
Yep.
And Lillian's spell rotation is back up again. So, I think the general consensus between us and the community, she is a little too strong. I don't think it's absurd.
I like her kit though.
I do like her a lot. Yeah. I just think some of the numbers need to be tuned down a little bit. Maybe take some range off the ultimate. Maybe take a little bit of the shred off the ultimate. I think if they tune everything a little bit down,
you got out of a certain range when her ultimate was on you, it doesn't hit you.
That would also be nice. Like it misfires.
I mean, I don't know if that's broken because then that's a waste, but you would force either a blink, you would force some sort of mobility, you would force them out of the fight.
But Muzzy, if anything, that's you're forcing them to make strategic use of their ultimate, which is what it should be. You shouldn't just be pressing R and like going about your day. Like it should be, it's your ultimate for a reason. Like Zalgus doesn't.
Look at Zalgus and Mikkel's ultimate. If you have your team, like do the old switcheroony, and the target that you want to hit is now behind a tank. It hits for basically no damage. He'll hit for 0. Zalgus will hit for 0 on the tank, and it's all good. But like you do the switcheroony with Lillian, and just someone else.
I'm not taking that shot, bro. That's all you, dude. It didn't target me.
I've actually just been ulting the tank because I find it easier to get rid of a tank than
then
AC
your AD carry can carry too, right? Like
exactly.
The hardest part of the team fight.
Yeah, and I don't need a peel. Yeah,
Wait,
and there's no peel required, and you just Q.
I don't know if this would solve anything, but what if her Q, instead of the extra bullets or whatever coming from her, actually came off the people that she's got the mark on, so that it would stagger the damage, giving you time to actually react with a Bastion, a Stasis, or something like that, so you can actually not be destroyed by her Q in one fell swoop.
Then you're still using a spellbook spell for a Q ability, which is up in 6 seconds.
You're right. That's the balance issue there. Okay. I was just thinking of something.
I just wish that if she hit you with an E and people become hollowed, that if they are out of vision, when she Qs something, she doesn't get a fucking extra orb. I hate that in lane phase where I dodge the E, my support gets hit, my support hides into the bush, and then she walks up to me and Qs me, and then there's like 3 orbs, and I just feel like crap every single time.
I
there are
would like it
times
if they could actually buff her usability and give her a Sakari style counter, because there's a lot of times I have trouble figuring out how many people actually hit with my E, because I'm bad and I only played her once. But like if I had a little number underneath me that was like 3, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's Q time now. Let's do it. I mean
Sometimes in
that
team fights, when you throw that bubble out, it is kind of difficult
I
because
have
so
no
much is
idea how
going on.
many.
If I had 2 or 3 people there, you know.
Yeah. But in general, I just I don't like the counterplay to her E. Just feels like bland and difficult, and that's where I would like to see the nerfs come
I
to
just
her
don't
landing
like.
Either
phase.
that or buff Amaranth's bubble so it goes through minions.
I
Yeah, like
think
could you imagine
her.
if Amaranth's bubble just flew through all the creeps, killed them instantly, basically,
And if
and
it
then
exploded in the range near you and her
it
Q
just blew
still
up?
did the double damage, like what?
Yeah.
That was my
uh,
biggest thing. Like I played one game of Amaranth after playing Lilin, and I'm just like, well, never touching you again. There's just no point.
Yeah, I just
the
don't like her Q. I
Well,
hate
what
playing
if
against that
her
Q.
Q? I mean, it didn't come from the people, but what if it was staggered? You know, it would fire off the initial 2 that she always has, and then any of the
I
extras
don't think
would
it
be
would
like.
matter
what if the
because
Q
my
was
main
Well,
issue
no,
with
no, no, no,
her.
wait, I wasn't done yet. What if they could be blocked, like
Yeah.
her ultimate? That's what I'm saying. So you have time to react and position, and it gives some counterplay to the ability. Because for a point and click ability to be so damn powerful and have almost no counterplay, especially on such a low cooldown, if they were projectiles that could be blocked somehow, then maybe you could actually force a little bit more strategy and counterplay to it.
You could
I'm
certainly block
just an
more
I
of
feel
her
like I would
damage.
still delete the jungler. Like I would just ult and then
yeah,
Q the jungler, and then
yeah.
he would die. And then who the hell is gonna block the Qs anymore? Like nobody is.
Yeah. The
Like my biggest problem with her is that her Q does so much fucking damage for no skill. Like that's all there is to it, and I hate it.
They've had to tone down Amaranth's Q
I
a
feel
couple
like
times throughout patches because of that reason.
yeah, and then I feel like I'm playing against a Fed Rise 15 minutes into League of Legends, but only 10 or 15 minutes into Dongate. That's how I feel when I'm playing against a Lilin, who's actually good.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Q comes to my face, there's nothing I can do. I get zapped by diplomacy, I lose 33% of my HP. And then the second volley comes, I'm almost dead, and then I just feel like shit. Like it's just not fun playing against a Lilin.
yeah.
That's why I started into race car Lilin. And then I found out race car Lilin is just as stupid. Because
It
all you
was
really need is
insane how much
diplomacy.
damage you had with like 5 motions and a Justice.
Yeah, it's like why is this even possible? And then I just realized it's her passive and her ulti, and I was like, okay, her kit is just really, really strong. And she does tons of damage. Just like, okay. I don't know.
Yeah, her passive could probably deal with a nerf there. I mean, to get rid of that build, but would you reduce the base damage, increase the scaling, or just nerf it down the line because she's already good enough at killing tanks? Why does she need to also scale off HP?
Well, I'm actually not quite sure how the passive works for her Q, her Fool's Fire, because I think it is 4% of target's bonus health per
Yep.
shade, right?
Per shade.
So if
Yep.
there's 7 shades, does it do
That-
28%?
Yep.
Because that's dumb. Like, if you think about that number,
Yeah.
that is dumb. Like,
Her
what the-
passive does damage. Her everything does damage. She has 5
Yeah.
damaging spells, and they all do true damage. It's
Yes.
it's scary.
I'm sure she'll get tweaked.
Yeah.
We don't know her win rates and stuff, but man, she's annoying. So you guys have played the racehorse, yes, or
Yes.
played against or as, and just
I haven't
like
had the misfortune.
yeah.
You can never touch her. Her knockback is on a 3-second cooldown, and her Q will always hit you no matter what.
I know.
For billions of damage.
Yeah, so if you're any good at kiting, you can just make life miserable for other people.
Right.
So I think the general consensus here is Lilin needs to get tuned down a little bit. I don't want him to go too crazy with it, but if you hit
Right.
all of those abilities some way, I think it might put her in a more better, less worse place.
More better, less. Worse.
More better, less worse.
The only problem with her is that she's not one of those shippers where I would say she could carry a team to victory. Like if you're on a team with 4 people that.
I mean, I pick on her when I play generally assassin jungle, and I pick on her when I'm in against her, and I get a faith, not a faith, I get a retribution, and I don't really have too much of an issue. The problem is the racehorse one, you just can't fucking catch him, and then
Yeah.
so you can't pick on her. The most you can do is stall her from getting her fluidity by picking on her real hard in lane first, and then hope she doesn't get the fluidity. But when she does, it's kind of game. Like you can't touch her anymore.
Yeah, even if she gets like a justice or something.
Yeah, it's
It's
tough.
It's really important, I found, to somehow get someone your front line to have a wither. I was playing Kindra against Lilin. Like, if I wither her, she doesn't one-shot me.
Yeah.
But getting that wither is very tough because all of her damage comes in a single window. Like, if you can somehow stack the Scorpion item, wither, and with some decent damage reduction, like it actually doesn't hit very hard, but the range is so tight that like really only Kendra
You
and a
can't
couple
get
other
through.
people can actually get that close.
Oh well. Anyway, rest of the patch notes.
Rest of the patch notes. I mean, Michaela, new master race, Michaela, ranged ADC.
Fourth. It's the fourth bullet on the alt. Just you see the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, you see the difference on that fourth bullet. You're like, damn.
I had a couple games.
So-
I've definitely noticed a lot more people dying from final payment nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've seen
even
a
in one of
lot
the
of people
games,
dying.
someone was like, "God bless the Michaela passive," and I was just like,
Right.
yeah.
There's a highlight of Prime Night, so Mikhail Oni, his stream, where he one-shots an Ash Bell by trolling into her, Q auto attack, W reset, and then she blows up. I need to find that line.
Do
Yeah,
we
like,
is
that's
is
insane.
is
I
Michaela
gotta
too strong
jungle
now
Michaela.
with this passive? I think she's okay.
She's definitely still fine. I think the community reaction to this buff was a little exaggerated. I think she was like good and is now really good, but like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still damage that gets mitigation applied to it. It's not as much damage as say Lilith, for example. It's like it's a nice buff, but I don't think it's gonna put her like into the god tier that people are saying she is. Like 100 damage at end game is not a lot. Like
It's you know what I think it is. I think people were undervaluing her for a little bit and
forever, to be
overvaluing
honest.
Varian and Kenzu and stuff like that. And now, I think that like this is just giving people another reason to play Michaela, and it's like, oh wow, she's actually pretty good. And I think she's always been pretty good ever since they added the auto reset on her W. I've been like, well, here we go, Michaela time, and it hasn't really picked up until now after giving her the passive. But I'm not surprised to see the rise of Michaela once again.
The community perception to 80 carries has always been like this. There's like the 180 carry that's the god tier 80 carry, and it's the other 80 carry that is unplayable. Yet, like, for a year straight,
80 carry players are also fickle.
Right, for a year straight, everyone's like Nisa's so shit, and then she get nerfed in the next patch, and it's like, well, it's because she wins all the time.
Yeah,
It's like, well, Michaela just got buffed. I bet you it's because she was OP before the patch, and now she's even more OP. Like,
Right.
no, like everyone's saying Nisa's shit. I would love to like get the data stream back and prove that I'm sure she's still fucking doing great because you get a ward, and like no one values an extra ward. No one values burst damage on her ultimate. You're like Nisa's the worst, and
I don't know. I think 80 carries is all player preference. Depends on when you want your power spike. And if you want your power spike early, you go for early. So like Nisa and stuff. You want it late, you get like Vex, Mikala maybe. If you want like mid game stuff, you go for Kensu. There's like I feel like ADCs are all relative to one another. Like it really depends on what you're looking for in a team comp. And like, yeah, Nisa is really shit. It's just because she has two damage abilities, one of them being the ultimate, and she doesn't really scale that good into late game. But you can say the same with Kensu. Like he only has one thing that really does a lot of damage, but his utility is so good for certain team comps.
Yeah.
For certain team, I think Kensu is one of those guys that works way better on paper than in solo queue. And by paper, I mean like when you guys theorycraft and competitive play. Like Same thing with Ronin. I think Ronin is easily in the dumpster because if you're not winning in solo queue, he's like like flat out the worst.
Yeah,
I
you
would
don't want. It's really tough when
right.
your Ronin's behind.
Like I think Nisa is in a much better place. Same thing with Vex. Like I think Vex is kind of in the dumpster due to his lack of mobility. Like
I think Vex is OP.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with you on that.
Vex can win any lane early game.
if you look at solo queue Vex, he's dying. Like that's what happens, right?
That's because of the ADC player skill, though, in my honest opinion.
I could lean with Tulse there because
I feel
if
like
you've leaned against a really good Vex, like you eat Jagged Volley for 8 minutes straight. Like and
Yeah.
you just he doesn't miss
I
it.
hate that
like,
ability.
Like I'm sorry, but like that and that's how you're supposed to play Vex. Like
yeah.
if you come into a situation where everyone's at full health and has everything up, yeah, Vex dies like in 2 seconds because like he's
Has anyone noticed the difference with his Q? Or was it? What
Yeah,
is
his Q,
Yeah,
skewer.
yeah, his Q.
I mean,
Yeah,
it looks better, but it's Jagged Volley, which really hurts, and
Right.
like it makes it so he pokes you down so consistently. And then like when he just turns his ultimate on in a mid-game team fight, if he's not there when the fight starts and he like rolls up halfway through and everyone's at like a third health, it's like,
an
oh,
omni-kill.
bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Vex is weak. I definitely don't
Dude,
think
I
that.
love Vex. Vex is probably my second favorite AD carry to play, but if I see one on my team, I'm not happy about it. It's like that's not
That's
a good
because you don't
feeling.
trust anyone to be good enough with him because he is good.
It's hard
he
to
is very
play it.
strong, but it's hard to be good with him.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel
If you step a centimeter out of position, you die. Right?
You're dead,
Like
yeah.
that's what
It's
is
almost
always
like if
gonna-
you want to prove yourself to be a good AD carry, play Vex.
No, I
And
would say play Ronin.
if you're shit with
Yeah,
Vex,
play Ronin.
then or play Ronin. Okay,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, I don't really know. It's not AD carry, it's not my thing, but
Vex is more
feels
brain
like-
dead than Ronin.
Yeah.
the lack of mobility on him though, I feel like makes him like really raises his skill level.
I feel like
yeah,
if-
I wouldn't. And I'm not arguing that, but I'm like Nisa gives you a free ward, and you could always W out of like
Yeah.
bad situations.
Mhm.
So the chance of a Nisa losing a game in solo queue is just flat out statistically less than a Vex who doesn't get that extra vision and who will die within a moment's notice. Yeah, his damage is phenomenal. I love playing him with first damage, but like when I consider solo queue across the board, like it just I don't think they're comparable. Like Nisa's just better in my opinion.
I feel like all AD carry shapers are all more player dependent than a lot of other roles, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I agree. Like I see a lot on Reddit. It's like 80 carry tier list. It was on the forums yesterday, and everyone's like tier 8 Nisa, and I think it's very much more similar of like tier 1 a couple, and then tier 2 like the rest. Like I hate when people underappreciate Nisa like just for the utility of her extra ward, and her damage is it's comparable. She does get a lot of burst.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's just me. It's just me.
No, I think Nisa's good. It's just hard.
Tier 8 Nisa, that's generous. Fuck you.
Any other big things you guys want to touch on from the past? Oh, Strife. What do you guys think about the
I noticed the difference. It felt great.
I think
It's like
better.
it's not heyday great, but it's like it's awesome.
Well, I hated
Dude.
everyone buys a Strife gate. That was stupid.
Yeah, that
Welcome
was stupid,
back.
but I think it's in a good place.
It's not welcome back. I haven't seen it as bad.
That's why you gotta get potency, man.
A potency is the new shit. Did you guys see me delete that Zalgus with potency Petrus?
Potency
Just-
is the hotness.
Potency it's like the new item that people are gonna cry about. The rest is still there, of course, but potency is the new shit.
I'm actually pretty comfortable with the amount of duress in the games.
Yeah.
The only
I've seen less.
thing that sucks about potency, obviously, is that like you see things like Petrus' Q or like Zeri's E, and it's like how does that hit so hard? It's like stop hitting me with this ability. Like it definitely adds damage to shapers that you aren't expecting to take damage from before, and that's like a scary thought. Especially if you have spammable abilities. I don't know if it's OP, but they're definitely appreciated buffs that are showing.
I don't know. Potency hurts.
It does hurt.
Actually hurts now.
It's good.
Before I used to be like, ooh, lightning, and I'm like, fuck, I'm dead.
Oh, God
Right.
damn, that lightning's serious now.
It used to be only relevant on the opening of the fight. It
Mhm.
would bring people down quickly, and then it would be less and less relevant. And now it's terrifying.
Now it's just good all the time. It's just, yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
good item now.
The biggest change, right, is like before you take that potency, you'd lifesteal it back, maybe, or in like the second potency, you'd laugh at. But now the second potency is like, wait, I'm still getting chunked down, and then the third potency is like, okay, I gotta go shop. Okay, bye guys. Like, that's cool.
Potency hurts.
Anything else majorly you guys want to touch on from the patch? I think we covered all the key
I think
points.
most of them.
Couple just other item changes, other shape or balance things, but didn't really affect too much in my opinion.
No, that's basically it.
Cool. Well then, Muzzy, do you want to talk a little bit about your experiences at the Extra Life charity stream over at the Waystone Studios? Want to give us a rundown?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I woke up at 3 a.m. to drive 5 hours to San Francisco,
That's a
and
lot.
I got there at driving there was the easiest thing ever. I didn't feel like 5 hours at all, and I got there and it was let's see, Brad and Andy were already there, and you know, they were already awake and ready, and they were excited, and we were at like, I think like 70-80% of the goal already for the charity event. And then I mean, some of the coolest things that I saw there were just like the $500 donations blew my mind. You people are incredibly generous and amazing, and everybody who donated, thank you so much. That was awesome. I know Thor stream like got about $1,000 just on his stream, which was amazing. So, you know, all the people who did stream for it and do that, that's a huge deal. Everyone
I got
appreciates it.
$70 on my stream. Yeah.
Dude,
70
70
bucks?
is anything is amazing. Honestly,
I'm so proud.
People
I thought I'd get like $10, and that'd be
Where's
it.
my profile icon?
70 is awesome. And then
so
I
happy.
stayed up from 9 a.m. or from basically 3 a.m. and we played we started off with Mario Kart on the Wii. I am horrible at that, even though I made turns perfectly and all that stuff. I still just got wrecked for some reason. It was like my average was 7th place. So there's something to that game. That they kept saying that's Mario Kart. So I just went with it. Yeah, a fun game. Let's see. We did Rock Band. We did board games. We did a sealed Magic the Gathering event. I beat Dibs, so that was awesome.
Nice.
But Dibs had a better record, so he got to go on. Played against him and
Aw.
Shy Guy in my group and lost 2-0 or 0-2 to Shy Guy.
Wow, you might have been scared. He would. I'd be afraid for your life if you actually beat him.
You know, Shy Guy is a lot nicer in person than he is on the vines.
Yeah, that's what they
for
say
sure.
about all serial killers. Oh,
Yeah,
he seemed
yeah,
like such a
yeah, I
normal
know.
guy, quiet,
that's
kept
why
to
I was
himself. Now, I
That's
don't know
why I
why
was
he has
worried.
14 heads in the freezer.
Right,
what?
Exactly.
I wouldn't. I don't trust Shy Guy at all.
He
He
did make a
terrifies
few
me.
comments that you know set me on edge, but otherwise, I think he's a really nice guy in person.
Mhm, yeah, that's what they all
Yep.
say.
I got to meet Spinal Dash, so that was awesome. Spinal's a little bit shorter than I thought he was. He said it's, you know, the camera makes him seem taller, so that was a lot of fun.
People
But,
say the same thing about me, so I don't.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think the camera adds a few inches.
I just have such a big presence on the internet. That's
Yeah,
what it
it's
is.
the personality.
Yeah,
I
what
did
it
get to
is-
see his eyebrows move in person. He is Mr. Eyebrow for sure.
He's got it going on.
I just want to jump in real quick. I say short people will always put their webcam underneath and view it up, so it looks like
Yeah.
you're looking up to them. Is a trend I have seen 100% across all
I
short
see.
people.
I see.
Yeah. Just throw
Let's
it
see,
out
what
there.
else did we do? I actually got to, it was kind of random, but I was teaching Death via Zombie, one of the games that I have created, and it's just a card game. And Andy was like, hey, you want to just stream that for an hour? And so we streamed the playtest of it, which was really, really nerve-wracking, but very fun in the end. I ended up going to bed around 5:30. I got to hang out with Moby. Moby is, you know, a lot of you guys know Moby, but he's working there now. And so I got to hang out with him, play games with him and his fiance. And yeah, I went to bed around 5:30 because I figured if I had to drive home, I needed to get a little bit of sleep. So I had a little bit of sleep, hung out with VGFX. You guys know him. Grabbed some Indian food. That was delicious. And then I drove home.
Nice.
But my experience, it was a lot of fun. There are a lot of really great people there. Everyone's like, oh, I got to see Crean. I got to meet Crean. He showed up for a bit. That was awesome. But yeah, there's just a lot of good stuff there. It's still a really good vibe being at Waystone. The people there are passionate. They're nice. They're fun. They're all very intelligent. Talked to Pigo Migo, Gasty's brother, for a bit about some stuff, and just had a good time overall. The poker faces. I watched the poker tournament.
People got really hyped for the poker game.
Wow.
That was one of the things when I watched the stream. I was able to watch the poker game, and I'm like, man, everyone's really in on this for some reason. But
yeah, it was awesome. And Andy, who I'm not sure if everyone knew this, if he actually let this out live, but he used to deal. He used to be a poker dealer. So
dude, you could totally tell when like people's like,
tell,
don't
right?
fold out of turn, sir. Like he's the guy who like I'd be all drunk at the table at like 4 a.m. Like and he's like, don't splash the pot, sir. Like sorry, and I do it again. I'm like, God, shit.
Yeah, he knew his shit, and I think he won because of it, didn't he? I think he was the winner.
I don't know.
He was the dealer and the winner. That's suspicious.
Rigged.
Yeah,
dubious.
But he was just poker face,
stone-faced.
Poker. Yeah,
I love
good.
it.
It was good. It was fun to watch.
So don't play poker with Zwill. He'll take all your money.
Or do play poker with Zwill. Just don't put in a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because you could probably learn a lot from him. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Had a good time. I brought a 3-pound bag of gummy bears. I was really surprised to see that they were still alive at the end of the stream. So
very nice. Very nice.
Good times.
Other than pretty much that stuff, we're getting close to the end here. I do have a quick little announcement for you guys.
What?
Yeah, I do, and it's esports related.
Esports.
Myself with help from MOBA Champion will be putting on a tournament this Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. The guys over at ESL are working with me and getting it. We got it all set up today. We've got a link and signups for people who want to play. It is called the Proving Grounds 5v5 Grand Prix because everyone has such a big makes such a big stink out of the names that I decided I want to call it a Grand Prix, and I think it works. I wanted to call it the Kula Heli Tangle Open Invitational Grand Prix, but that might have been a little too much. But we can unofficially call it the Kula Heli Tangle Grand Prix, but it is the Proving Grounds. So basically, it is a 16-team tournament. If 16 people show up, 16 teams, it is best of ones all the way up until the semifinals, where we do best of three for semis and for the finals. And the other thing that's really cool about it is the top 4 finishing teams all get. Yeah, you can link now, Nate. Nate628 is my ESL contact. He's been helping me out a lot with it. I thank him very much. The cool thing is the top 4 teams get to go to get a spot in the next Race to the Gate qualifier at the end of the month in November. So that's really cool. And I've got the tournament set up in a way that, I mean, it's the first event that I'm running by myself, quote unquote, so to speak. So I'm kind of testing out things. I like the best of one kind of ideas, and I think this is one of those cases where for the teams that aren't quite as established, you could maybe sneak a win in the early bracket stages and get to the semifinals, and then you have a spot in the Race to the Gate in the next one, and you don't have to worry about being late to signups or winning another one of the tournaments that's coming up. But it's one of those. So I mean, I encourage everyone to play, and this is something that can be really fun, and I've wanted to do a tournament for a long time, and now I'm going to do it. So please give me all your feedback. It's going to be pretty standard. Other than that, I will have an official post with all the information on Reddit soon here. But yeah, so go sign up at the ESL type. It's a high elo tournament because the top 4 teams, get a spot in the next Race to the Gate. So, but that shouldn't discourage lesser known teams from trying, because it's all best of ones in the beginning. There's no group stage. There's no anything like that. We start with 16 teams, ideally, and then go down to 8, then down to 4. So you win 2 games, you go to race to the gate. So not a bad incentive, in my opinion. So
Couple questions. Is it on live or the tournament realm?
it will be on the tournament realm.
PR.
And what time?
2 p.m. Eastern time is the start.
Eastern.
It will be
Cool.
casted by me, and EGAD's going to be casting with me as well, Dan. So I thank him for doing that. So should be some nice hype there. Maybe I'll bring in some guest casters throughout the day, but we'll see how things go.
So if 16 teams sign up, are you casting all 8 round of 16 matches, or are you letting them run in parallel?
Well, for the round of 16, I won't be casting all of those matches. Maybe when we get to the round of 8, I will.
Okay.
I haven't fully decided on that, just because it's one of those deals where I don't know how quickly we go through it. I don't want a 12-hour long event.
Right. I was just wondering because the semi and finals, if they all went to 3 games, would be approximately like 9 hours worth of gameplay. So I was wondering how, on the spot, in the middle of the podcast, what your plans were.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking maybe maybe cast the round of 8 as well.
Cool.
If anything, yeah. I mean, I'll make that call when we get to it, but still working out some of the kinks and details. But I wanted to announce it to the world, so all of you boys scrimming can have something to look forward to at the end of this weekend. So it will be this Sunday, November 2nd, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Grab 4 other bozos and compete. You might even get a chance to get a spot in the next race to the gate and play for some money. I mean, you never know. Upsets happen. And I have my tournament set up for the upsets to happen. But players on the good teams, I am aware of who you are and the well-notable teams and the guys who compete. I'm not going to seed it in a way where it would be unfair for you guys. I take all that into account. But, yeah, I'm hoping for some good matchups and hopefully maybe some upsets. So,
Cool.
yeah, that's that.
We'll be expanding Pick'em support for 16-team format for this tournament, and then obviously for Waystone. So get your Pick'ems in by. We'll try to get that out later in the week.
Yeah.
Like Thursday, Friday. We'll probably make a post on Reddit about that.
Mm-hmm. Just with all the official rules and everything, too. We'll have all that stuff coming up in the next few days. Other than that, do we have any other housekeeping things? John, you want to talk about Dawn Scout profiles? Or anything like that? Remind the
We
people.
deleted a bunch of them today, and if your profile was deleted and you're upset about it, it should be back tomorrow. So that's fun. Nothing else, really. Sorry. The
Lilin guides? Are we doing that?
The Lilin guide contest will start next week, and the new guide editor is almost done. I was working on that a lot this weekend. So people are going to be able to, I mean, a sneak preview of features is you're going to be able to add an introduction and more item sets and then more customization options. And then one thing people have been asking for a while is the ability to write general guides that aren't for shapers. So you could write a jungling guide or a
ward
laning,
guide.
Ward guide, all that stuff. So that's all coming within the next couple weeks. We've got some proving grounds, fun stuff to work on first, but
Yeah.
back to guides right after.
Yeah, so look forward to that stuff. Sign up if you haven't already. What else, John?
Sorry, one more thing. If anyone knows Dr. Vacuum, he has not submitted his Ronin Guide Contest prize selection, and I cannot get a hold of him. So if anyone knows him, see me after class.
After class.
Does anyone have chat? We got a couple minutes left here. If anyone on chat has questions, feel free to go and ask them if you so desire.
I have a question. How do you guys want to fix potency? Because it's too strong.
It's not too strong.
Did you see that video?
Maybe bring down the internal cooldown a little bit.
You said you one-shot someone, right? Like with potency or something? Is that what you're saying?
Here, I'll paste it in our chat here.
I haven't seen it yet. But I mean, like the old potency would have done more damage if you were one-shotting somebody. I don't think that 5% of someone's health is too egregious. Maybe the power scaling is too high, if that's what the build you were doing. I'm checking it out now. The one shots in this game are pretty real.
Yeah.
Like obviously everyone's hating on Lilin because she's new, but like I can blink ulti combo with Amaranth and one shot any squishy in the game too.
Right.
Um, like there's a lot of one shots in this game. Like
There are for sure.
you can like a double McKellar crit or a double Ronin crit is like GG on the squishies,
Mm-hmm.
which I like though. I like watching people disappear. Are you ever gonna punch this person in this video? I'm watching.
Just relax.
There
I
it
had to
is.
wait for the right time. I want him to blow all of his shit and
Oh,
be
you
confident.
still punched him into the wall.
Yeah. I know. It's Petrus's ult, which is already really strong. It does double damage if it hits a wall, but it's just really funny because the lightning happens to go with it.
It's hype. It's a really visceral
Yeah.
effect. Really like it. Amber, no. How do you feel about Exceed? Exceed's neat. It's funny to use. I don't know if it's what
I don't know
prompts
if
it
it'll ever be like,
viable.
yeah, competitively viable, but it's a very fun ability. I think you could do some really like I think with Viridian you could make like a stupid power loadout and take it at level 1 and maybe like cheese some early kills, but then you're just sitting there with Exceed at level 1 and that's
think
that.
The important thing with Exceed is it's actually broken overpowered when you think about it. Like if you're at a 400 power mage build and like let's say you're Zalgus and you pop it and like Justice procs and you're at like 600 power or something like that, like that's a broken amount of damage, but the chance of you being able to make use of that is very low.
Yeah, the optimal use case for it is just not nearly as awesome as something like Blink or Blitz or Stasis or Dispel or there's just too many other options. You know what would be cool, and I don't know, this just popped into my head, but like your spell book has like this is your offensive spot, this is your defensive spot,
We
and
talked
then
about
this
that
is
like
your
a year
choice,
ago.
right?
Yeah. It would make the system interesting. I think the thing that would suck though is like there would always be like the only offensive spell, right? Like it's always drain and never stagger and shit like that.
Yeah, and does Wither count as an offensive spell or a defensive spell, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's both.
I actually I do like the way the system is now. That like it really tailors.
I do too. I there's so many cool spells, and I feel like
Don't use them.
Waystone it doesn't want to. I mean, remember we would used to get all these like spellbook leaks, and like we haven't seen any new spells in forever, and I feel like they're just kind of like, well, there's no point in coming up with new spells because the ones that are here already are so good and just kind of so ingrained in the consciousness of the players that they'll just be like, oh, that's a cool spell, but they'll just still pick Blink level 1 all the time.
Dude, give me a spell that does like Braum or Yasuo's wall, and then be like, "Goodbye, Lilin. You are no longer OP." But teleport, I think, is like teleport's like the long rumored spell. That's like when are you adding
I'm
it?
sure they can think of even more interesting things than what we have thought of.
I don't think so, man. I don't think they have any creativity at all. It's all a clone, dude. Have you seen Twitch chat? Come on. But yeah, more spells would be cool. It's been a long time since they added a spell.
I want more passives, passive stones. I think the loadout editor needs some love.
Definitely, I would agree. I would agree. I heard
Crafty.
Viana is getting a kit update. Any opinions on this?
I mean, her ult
doubt
got
it.
bigger range.
I doubt she'll get kit updates. I feel like reworks are low on their priority right now. Oh, you know what? We forgot to mention, but Gatsby posted on the forums the other day is that if someone DCs in a rank match, like nobody loses MMR or something crazy like that.
That's gonna be gamed way too easily.
That's what I
though.
was thinking.
Time to
Someone said
pull
it in my
the
chat.
cable.
Somebody said in my chat, and I was like, "No, you're misquoting that because like there's no way they would
People
do
are,
that."
and not only that, but what really upsets me with that is like that's just asking people. You're just gonna get if you're having a bad game. That's just 4 people on your team going, just quit, just quit. You're the reason we're losing. Just we shouldn't lose MMR because you're so effing bad at the game. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's scary, honestly.
Look, AFKs they're a part of the world we live in. Disconnects happen. No mercy. Cobra Kai never die. Sweep the leg and all that. Like you have to imagine that in the cosmic way of the world, it'll all even out eventually. You know, I don't know. I don't know if I like it. Oh, before 5 minutes or first blood? Maybe.
That's not what the quote said. The quote just flat out was
Oh, he's
like,
talking about Dota.
"Oh yeah, okay."
Oh.
Here's the link. Don't DDoS the site when you click it. But yeah, the plan is to quote automatically make it so you don't lose MMR in ranked if someone has DC'd or left for 5 minutes. Did he mean before 5 minutes? I hope so. I hope that's what it meant because like that system begs to be like exploited. The simplest exploit I can think of is that when you play your Smurf, duo queue with your friend's main, and if you guys are losing the match, you DC and the match is forfeit, and then you're rank 1. Like that seems really easy to exploit. If you're, I don't mean to say everyone could do it, but like if you're a top 100 player who's dedicated to it, it would be pretty easy to do. So that scares me.
Now you're just part of the problem, John.
Well, it's the beta, man. Beta's gonna bait. People are gonna
Beta's
like,
gonna bait.
I mean, come on, you guys all know how Sheeves cheated. Am I right? Not really, but I mean, people are.
Oh wow, the person who triggers it and anyone duoed with them get full losses.
Okay, well, I'll immediately counter that with we'll just queue at the same time, and if we don't get in the same team, then someone will dodge. Or if we're on, I guess if you're on opposite teams, you could just throw on purpose. I don't know. I always worry about exploitation.
Oh, of course. I think that they're very aware of jerks in the internet who will exploit anything. Like, I mean, I'm sure they were worried originally about Sakari's walls. You know, I mean, you've played. Oh my God, brain fart. The bird, ice
Dodge
bird,
gets a loss too.
ice bird from
Dodging
League.
is equal to losing in rank, but what about, well, I mean, declining the queue and like, you know, like.
What if my house is on fire, man?
Yeah, that's always the emergency. There's broccoli in the fridge. I gotta get it.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you dodge and you take a loss and your house is on fire, you don't care about taking a loss.
I would hope so. I would hope that's low on your priority list. I was in my promos though, Muzzy. The house I can rebuild, but my elo, it's gonna decay.
Burn for your elo.
Burn for your elo.
Yeah. Anivia. Yeah, I'm sure they were worried about like the Anivia wall, you know, and I'm sure they were worried about people gaming the Sakari walls, but no one really exploits it and
Why
griefs
troll
too
your
much
team
with
when
it,
you
so.
control the enemy with it?
Right.
I started
exactly.
playing Sakari this weekend for the first time, and like I troll my teammates every game. I don't know how you can resist not trolling them. Like you leave the.
But that's who you are.
Mhm.
That's who you are. I'm pretty sure I've seen horns. I like.
That's why I can't shave my head. It's
Right. That's why. That's
what I
exactly.
think.
We can't show you for who you really are.
We had a scrim. He was almost dead, and we were walking through the parasite. I autoed the parasite, made the parasite kill him. It's the best feeling in the world. Everyone on our team has at least somehow killed OC. Purposeful.
The Sakari wall Kensu ult isn't a bug. They said it last week. They require new tech in the engine that they just don't have. So soon.
Wait, what was it? I missed that.
You can't Kensu ult a Sakari wall because their engine doesn't support it yet. So it's not like a bug. It's like a feature they have to patch in.
Right.
Yeah, you have to Kensu ult after the wall is placed, but if the wall is placed before, I mean after the Kensu ulti, then you get blocked in.
Yeah, they did fix it. At first, it wasn't going through the wall at all, but now it does. I've seen it cut through the wall, but if she puts new ice blocks there, it still messes you up. So.
Okay.
Oh, RS Flex says also keep in mind we track the dodges and quits matches. If someone abuses the system, then we have the ability to take care of it. Very Italian of you.
Well, I think that means they 6 Shy Guy on you if you dodge too many times.
They've actually been training Shy Guy. That's these videos are actually his training videos.
I don't know. Like I appreciate that, but like there's always cracks that people slip through. It'll really be the people who are sneaky about their cheating that will.
What did Dibs just tease?
Dibs says soon exciting new Sakari iceberg plus other shaper interaction.
Can someone move terrain? Can someone pick up the ice blocks and throw them at things?
Or knock them away?
Dispel everything in this AoE. GG.
Like a null magic zone? Oh, that would be pretty dope sauce.
Or maybe someone's on fire and can melt it.
A null magic zone would actually be an incredible counter pick to Lilin.
To a lot of things,
Yeah.
and like to Lilin or anyone. Like if you can put down an AOE that no magic can be, it's like an AOE silence for everyone in this area for 3 seconds, whatever the hell it is.
Well, think about Akali's shroud thing.
Yeah.
If you put it in an area there, you can't. You're just a silence field. So as you're running away, nobody can use mobility abilities. Nobody can use spells and anything like that. As soon as they come out, then they get to use them.
That would be
like that. That would be killer.
That would be
awesome.
Really, really cool. And I would like it to
And
be
the
on a
Bruiser
melee
Gate-
tank.
The Bruiser Gate is back, boys.
Yo, whatever. You can't kill the
Silence
Bruiser Gate. You could all these Lilins and everything. You keep putting in things, Sakari and Lilin, whatever. I'm still gonna play Bruisers.
Yo, can I just straight up tell you that the new Strife Rampancy build gives you like
Oh, shut up. We ruined a game with that stupid
6,000
Strife Rampancy build, and I wanted to kill
6,000
you
life
because
and
of it.
300 power. Get on my level.
Rampancy second item. Are you kidding
Well,
me?
that's not how you do it.
Are
I
you
told him
kidding
not-
me?
That's wrong. Willard, my Padawan
Willard,
learner. I love the new Strife though. It's pretty sick.
Yeah. Doesn't her ice freeze Amaranth's water now? I don't think so.
That'd be cool if you just shoot a
Yeah.
Q and then her tidal wave just freezes.
or turns into an ice. Oh man, can you imagine a world where you could do interactive ults? Like only your ults worked with each other in some sort of way. Like not just AoE like Wombo combo ult style thing, but like there's a fire type, there's a shadow type, and the way that they interacted would do something.
Like some sort of weird like alchemy type system.
I mean, they would have had to
That
have
is
planned that
totally, yeah.
from the beginning. But like that's a cool world.
But like,
to live in.
someone throws down like the big pool of water and then the lightning guy
Right.
comes in, charges up the water.
Yeah,
That's cool.
exactly. I mean, you guys have played. God damn it, I need more
Magicka?
water. I guess Magicka does
Oh,
it too.
man.
No, the Divinity or Origin of Sin,
Oh.
where you
Oh,
can
that game
combine.
is so bad. What a waste of money. I wish I could give it away because I don't
It's
want to
so
see them
fun.
down anymore.
It's so fun.
It's probably just too slow for you, John.
Yeah,
Pharaoh said
it's a
video
terrible
videos.
co-op game. Like,
Yeah.
all the screenshots, all the reviews are like, "This is the best game ever," and then it's like I spent like 4.5 hours running around a city looking and talking to people. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Anyway,
That's that old school.
See,
I think that's probably going to be it for us as well.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much for watching, hanging out with us, even though we didn't have a special guest. And I would just like to touch on, when we don't have a guest every week, then it's not special. So don't come in here and be like, how come there's no guest? This is the core crew. This is what you pay to see. The guest, that's something you get when you're good. So you guys were a good audience tonight, so maybe next week I'll see about getting a guest. But I don't want to spoil you, bozos. Besides
Thanks,
that,
Puppet Word.
yeah. Besides that, I'm gonna turn this car around. I swear to God, we'll go right home. Sign up for the Proving Ground Grand Prix on the ESL website. Get your teams together and go do that. Make me happy. Play in my tournament, and I will cast you. Other than that,
Twerp.
yeah. Other than that, thank you guys very much, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.
cheers.